This is the latest trend that is taking over the internet, and I can totally see why. A soft and moist chocolate cake topped with velvety chocolatey cream, sweet and bitter notes dancing harmoniously from the luxurious ganache and cocoa powder, and finally that snap of chocolate shards. Oof, this is truly a chocolate lover's dream cake. Before we even begin with the recipe, let us talk about the tin that we need to make this cake. You get various designer and stunning looking tins in the market, but since I do not bake cakes to sell, I am using the one that I already had at home, Jugadu. It's a 5.5 inches one, and you can make about half kilo cake in this. We begin by making the base, which is chocolate cake, and this is my go-to recipe as it is the easiest one bowl chocolate cake recipe ever. This recipe calls for buttermilk, which we can easily make at home by simply adding vinegar to warm milk, give a quick mix and set this aside. In a large bowl, start by sieving the dry ingredients, which includes flour, that is maida, cocoa powder, baking soda and salt. Give a quick mix and add sugar. Mix that too. Finally, time to add the wet ingredients, which includes oil, vanilla and the prepared buttermilk. Mix to form the cake batter. Transfer it to the 5-inch cake tin, buttered and lined with parchment paper. Bake in a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes or until a skewer inserted in the center comes out clean. Let it sit in the pan itself for another 5 minutes and then invert on a wire rack to cool completely. To make the ganache, let's start by chopping the dark chocolate. I am using a combination of dark and milk chocolate here. You can use either couverture or compound chocolate, really doesn't matter. To that add hot cream. This is Amul fresh cream, and let it sit for a minute and then stir to dissolve the chocolate completely. Allow it to cool, maybe say about an hour for it to thicken a bit. So you can actually do this step while the cake is baking in the oven. That way by the time the cake bakes and cools down, your ganache is ready to be used. And this is also the time when you would make sugar syrup or chocolate syrup or coffee syrup to go on top. For the second layer, I am going to use chocolate mousse, for which I am whipping the cream to soft peaks. Instead of chocolate mousse, you can also go for chocolate pudding layer if you prefer, and the recipe link for the same can be found in the description box below. I chose mousse layer because the ganache that you made earlier would be also of use in this layer too, so it's kind of time-saving hack for home bakers. But then it's totally your call. The dream cake recipe has either a chocolate pudding layer or a chocolate mousse layer, so it is up to you to choose. Once the cream is whipped, add half of the prepared ganache and whip to stiff peaks. Be careful here not to over whip, or else the cream would look split and not shiny as seen in the video here. Now that all our layers are ready, let's assemble the cake, and this is what makes the cake totally beginner friendly, as you do not have to worry about crumb coating the cake or smooth finished look or even about the design on top. Isn't that the best part? This cake is also called as 5-in-1 Torte cake because it has 5 layers in it, beginning with the base layer, which is the chocolate cake that we prepared, followed by coffee syrup on top, which I had left out from a previous recipe. I'll share a few alternatives in the description box below to make your work easier. For the second layer, we will add the chocolate mousse, level it off. And the third layer is our chocolate ganache, level that off too. So for the fourth layer, which is the chocolate snap on top, we will use melted compound chocolate and spread it carefully, taking care not to mix it up with the ganache layer in the bottom, otherwise it won't break easily and give you that snap effect. For the fifth and final layer, we have a dusting of cocoa powder. Clean the edges and off this goes in the fridge for a minimum of 30 minutes. Chilling is crucial for the chocolate on top to set well, but the cake tastes best when chilled, so do not skip this step. Finally, break through the layers and enjoy that snap and truly one-of-a-kind experience, digging deep inside to get the moist and soft chocolate cake with melt-in-mouth velvety mousse layer. A slightly bitter tone from the luxurious chocolate ganache and cocoa powder along with that crunch of the chocolate makes this a dream cake indeed. By the way, did you know you can also use the same cake base to make drop-dead gorgeous cupcakes too? Find the recipe link in the description box or click the link here seen in the video. I'll see you soon in the next one. Until then, this is Sushma signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.